Yes, we should have done so. We probably should feel a bit guilty about it.
Yeah, but you never know. I mean, when you're racing, people run aground all the time, so you don't know. And I guess being dinghy sailors, you see, when something happens to us, we sort it out.
So last week, we all went for our first sail in Seahorse. This week, everyone else is busy, so I get to have my first race in Seahorse.
When there's a big sandbank there. Yeah.
So now that all the boats are back in the water, the racing can begin. This week, it's race 1 of the Medway Yacht Club Spring Series. That good excuse to get everyone back together again, get them back on the boat, and get the crews working again, enjoying their sailing and get into the habit of going racing every week. For Hannah and I, it wasn't quite so straightforward. Elizabeth has taken up hockey, which she really enjoys, so that kept Hannah busy, and because we have a lot of things going on in our private life at the moment, we didn't want to organise a crew in case we had to let them all down at the last minute. So, at the last minute, I decided to enter on my own. Now, being on my own, I didn't really want to be mixing it with a lot of keen racer types short tacking up at the side of the river. So I decided I'd hang back at the start, at the port end of the line, out of everyone's way, let them all start. I could then duck behind them, go out to the right hand side, at least I'd be in clear air, I could mind my own business, and the race would unfold from there. But with 30 seconds to go, I decided to sheet in. At least I thought I could head towards the line. Now, I don't know whether it was because it's the first race of the year, or everyone was a bit line shy, or because the winds were light, people had just got their sort of time on distance wrong. But basically, there were only 2 boats going to be on the line. So I thought, I know, I'll have a go for it. So I sort of sheeted in, ducked the second of these 2 boats, squeaked in front of the third one, and did exactly what I was planning on doing and going out to the right hand side on my own, but in the lead gaggle. Woohoo! What a great start. Unfortunately, that only lasted about 30 seconds or a minute because I sailed into a bit of a hole, tacked to get back out into the river on what turned out to be a header, just that everyone else got a lift. As I came back across the river towards them, I was back in last place, or nearly. But anyway, it's the start of a long race. Plenty can happen.
Okay, so there's the fleet. Actually, I've got to adjust the sail, hold on. Actually a puff of wind. Let's see, we got up to 6.4 knots. We've had a lot less than that for a while. Might have to put this down a second, but I thought I'd film something. I'm not completely lost. And apart from Mr. Chips, which is an Impala, it made a good start. Well, actually, it made a good start. It just crossed in front of me. I'm doing okay. Got to round up in a minute. Everyone's dropped their kites. I'm hoping I can hold the code 0, but might not work like that. So let's see how we get on. Okay, so I've managed to hold on to it. What a fantastic light wind sail. No one else is holding the spinnaker. Typical, I'm heading towards a buoy, I might have to move. So we're doing alright. We haven't lost any more. Okay, so there's the majority of the fleet. We've kind of found our slot now. There's Mr. Chips, who we're really racing. So I've caught up with loads, which is good. And then behind us, we've still got Sulis and Valhalla, but I imagine they're suffering a bit because they haven't got any downwind sails. As soon as they start going upwind, their sail area and waterline length's going to start counting. But at the moment, we've got our little slot. And it's good. I'm racing the boat I want to race. They've got 6 people on board. Although, in fairness to them, it's been too tight for a conventional spinnaker, so they haven't flown their spinnaker at all. And I've managed to fly that code 0, which is great. But the code 0's rigged up, and I haven't got the time or enthusiasm really to unrig that and put the conventional kite up for the little bit down to 13. So I imagine I'm going to suffer a little bit. But if there's enough angle on it to get the code 0 working, I probably shouldn't lose too much. So we'll see. Anyway, that green mark is the next mark of the course, and then we've got a little short hop across to that red mark, and then we're further down river, round the corner, down there, sort of where those gasometer thingies are, around there, just 13. So code 0 is back up again, running very deep now, which is far from ideal for it, but well, you have to ask yourself, is it doing more good than the pulled out jib? Well, I don't know, to be frank, but it's up now, so and I'm going alright. Closing in a little bit on Chips, holding my position. We're on our way down to 13. Trying to adjust the water here. I'm trying to go as deep as I can and keep the sail drawing, because 13 is down on this side. In fact, if I zoom right in, you might just about see it. up there somewhere. There's a green mark around where that pink spinnaker is, I think. That is where we're going. Sulis, whether it's pulled that jib, is probably starting to catch me up. Don't know. Maybe we're doing alright. That was Valhalla, and then just behind Valhalla are the class 2 boats that rather embarrassingly seem to be catching us up. But you just got to sail the wind you got. Who knows, they might have better wind than us. So anyway, in the race that matters, there's Chips. I'm hanging on to him. So the lead boats are around 13 and they're coming back towards me. That's, I think, full tilt. This, oops, if not already soon to be known as Reefer 2, is it, I think, or Reefer X, or Reefer something. Anyway, another Reefer. I've only recently got that boat, bought it back from Germany or Holland or somewhere. I suspect this is their first race. Anyway, don't really know what happened, but Chips is right up there now. I was just sorting out ready for the spinnaker drop and must have got something I didn't. Or I did something wrong, because Sulis isn't that far behind now either. So you would think, being a comparatively light wind day, well no, it is a light wind day, this would be easy, wouldn't you? But I'm exhausted. The wind just does not stay still. It's shifting all over the place. I've had the kite up and down now 3 times, 4 times. You take your eye off it for a second and we're all over the place. I started off this on a run almost and it was deep, and I'm now almost on the beat again, or at least I'm going upwind. I still, I mean, I'm kind of holding my own, I guess. I've kind of caught Sulis back up a bit because they went over to port side of the beat and got good wind or good lift, or I just got bad stuff, I don't know. Chips has got away from me, so I'm a bit frustrated with that, although I'm not entirely sure it's all my fault. But there's a certain amount I'm losing just because I'm on my own. You just can't do everything and concentrate on what's going on, especially now the traffic's coming out. Of course, this is what you need on a shifty day when it's hard to keep the spinnaker flying, isn't it? I suppose we can't complain. He's allowed to here, at least. But that wave is still going to make my life a bit more of a pain. So, I've caught up with Chips a bit. Probably the sort of gap they had before they suddenly found that puff and got away. Got the kite down all right. This is 23, got 25, there's Sulis, and then it looks like we're finishing at 19 on the way back. 19 on the way back, so still in the race. So I got around 23 5 minutes ago and it's still just there. Sulis has just come up to it because we've been sitting in like 1 knot of wind, barely holding the tide. But we now got 6 knots, so I'm actually moving again. I'm going over this side of the river to keep out the tide. The competition is out in the river, but I suspect part of that is because they got swept out from going around 23 with the tide, because we've all been sitting, well, at least our little group has all been sitting in no wind. The lead bunch has long since gone around 25 and is probably finishing, so none of us are going to win, but that's the way the dice rolls, isn't it? You can't win them all. But anyway, that one there, if I can find it on the viewfinder, going upwind, is Chips. Again, they got away from me a little bit in that lull, but I'm still in the race, and who knows. How frustrating is this? I'm struggling against the tide to make this windward mark, and that's the lead boat. Start line's finish a mile away still. There's the mark I'm struggling against, with the tide sweeping me out. There's the boats I want to beat, Chips and Zephyros, but Sulis is still behind me over there. They're struggling like I am. There we go, battle on. To show how much of a lottery this has all proved to be at the end, there's Didnt Point I'm just about to go around, and Sulis, that I've been racing with all this time, still hasn't got around 25. It's not their fault, it's just if there's no wind, there's no wind. And there's no wind. I'm currently zipping along at 5 knots, in 5 knots of wind, but I've had like 0 most of the way down here. I've just been drifting with the tide. Obviously just got one of these puffs that people are getting. Some days the boats in front extend their lead, and other days the boats behind catch up. And from where I've been sailing anyway, this is a day for the boats in front getting away. It's been a good sail though. It's good practice on your own. It's been a bit frustrating. I thought I'd do all right, but it's such a join the dots course with so many hoists and drops and so much going on. It's hard work. For me, I'd have been better off with a go around Darn it and back kind of course. But anyway, I'm gonna have to go, because as is the way, the kite started spinning because the wind's gone. So technically the wind's on the beam, but because it's so light, and because I'm going at a reasonable speed with the code 0 up, oh, switch right round. It's right to the front. Look, this is my apparent wind right on the front, and this code 0 is fantastic. It's a bit limited in how you use it, but when the conditions suit, it's awesome. And if I had a proper crew, of course I could have switched between this and the spinnaker and it'd have been alright. There's Chips on his way back, and 19, which is the green mark, which is the next mark on the course, is obviously where the finish is. We'll be about now. Thank you. There's the mark. And Sulis, who you got to feel sorry for. Zoom in that far, I can't hold it steady enough. Anyway, there they are, right back there. I've got the same gap on Sulis as Chips got on me, but there you go. Still, good day sailing. Thanks chaps. Okay, so I'm motoring back to give you some idea of what I'm up against. Boat speed 5.6 knots, 5.7, and that, or 5.8, and that's fairly accurate because it's just been scrubbed off. Speed over the ground 3.7. 2 knots of tide in this, and we had 2 knots of wind, so that's not really any surprise we weren't going very far, is it? Anyway, that's it for this week.